How's everybody doing today?
Great.
I need some more energy. How's everybody doing today? Yeah, there we go. They're the running person. They got energy. Alrighty, so basically, my name is Desmond Varner. My business is KingPinz Buttons and Apparels, and the whole purpose of my business is an affirmation through fashion statements. Okay, so before we start, this is very important because I like to be engaging. I like, for you guys to give me feedback as well. Okay, so I want you all just, think about yourself and describe yourself in one word. Whether that be awesome, exciting, or even amphibious. I don't know, whatever adjective you like to describe yourself in, just think about it. Also, think about what are you really good at. Well, apparently, she's good at running. She has all the accolades and everything to prove it. So what are you good at? A little malfunction.
Just learn what you're not good at.
Yeah, I'm good at buttons. I'm not good at the little clips. And what is your purpose? So actually, you, ma'am, right there, because I see you and I just made eye contact. How do you describe yourself in one word?
I'm sorry?
Well, how do you describe yourself in one word? What one word describes you?
Energetic.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
You can tell I'm a little bit energetic. I'm not sure I'm at your level, but we'll see. We'll see. And you, sir, right there in the nice orange socks, what are you really good at?
We're in the wrong spot.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't have stood right in the middle.
I'll say I'm good at talking.
Good at talking?
Yeah.
Communication, that's a very useful skill. And you all the way in the back with the purple hat, what is your purpose?
Be the best me I can be.
I like that. That's all you can be. You got to dominate your lane. Just like small business, you have to dominate your niche. Okay, so a little bit about me. You see me and Zach, we go way back like cornrows and stocking caps. I actually did an internship with the city of Norfolk, and I met him actually on my first day. Me and Chris Tillett, who's the business concierge for the city of Norfolk, Department of Economic Development, we went around to Jack Brown's, great burger spot, by the way. If you haven't been there, you should go. Amazing burgers, high quality food. And then he took me here. I'm like, what is this? What does this even do? He's like, it's a business incubation spot. I'm like, what's business incubation? I'm 17. I have no idea what that means. But actually, I found out that, Hatch is kind of like, EC running. Is it East Coast running? I want to make sure. East Coast running, it's a professional trainer. It's to make your business better. You know how athletes have, special trainers and everything to make you stronger, to make you faster, to make you better at what you are. That's what Hatch is, the business. If you're catching on my analogy. I'm the proud owner of KingPinz. Started this a couple months ago with some birthday money. $35 got me, $35 in a dream. I can't complain. And my purpose, because everybody else said their purpose, and my purpose is basically to, uplift and inspire through as many vessels as possible and anything I can touch and get in part of. Okay, so I don't really call it my business a business. I call it a movement. Because a movement has a better ring to it. You say, yeah, support the movement. People are like, yeah. They feel empowered, they feel involved. So that may be a marketing ploy to you, but I honestly think it's a movement. To me, my whole, business represents self-love. It represents pride. It represents joy. It represents individuality. It represents virtue, your inner virtue and who you are. And also other affirmations. Like one thing I always want to make sure that my buttons are, or like any fashion that I'm going to soon come out later with, I want to make sure that it describes you, and I want to make sure that you can look at it and see something, a little bit of yourself in that small circle image right here. And as you can tell, that's my sister doing an excellent model job. She's mainly focused on the Snapchat filter, said the button, but it's okay, she's getting there. That's free marketing right there. A bunch of followers on Snapchat. Okay, so what was the inspiration, it came from all over the places. How, signs just, start popping up. You just look at it. You might not even know what it means, but then it starts to click. Things start connecting like, oh, okay, and your vision starts opening up. Because originally I wanted to do stickers. As you can tell, I have a ton of stickers on the back of my phone case, a lot of them for Hatch. But then I'm like, stickers. They market themselves. I was trying to convince myself to do them, but I'm like, who's really going to buy a sticker for $3? Nobody. I wouldn't buy a sticker for $3. And I also got, the idea from Norfolk Leadership Camp. At first, I didn't want to go to this camp because I thought, I'm 17 years old. I don't need to go to a summer camp. But, my job was paying me to go there. So I'm like, okay, cool. If I get paid on the weekends and I get to, kick it at ODU for free, that's perfectly fine. And a lot there, it was a lot about, getting out of your comfort zone and knowing who you are as a person. Also, my English teacher, Mr. Dow, as weird as it sounds, he didn't say anything about buttons, but every day he comes in with a tie-dye lanyard on, and they're full of buttons. So I'm like, okay, it's starting to make sense. Everything's really clicking together. In fashion, I'm not really I'm not gonna lie, I'm not the most stylish guy. I mean, I look good today because I'm ready for business. But besides that, I think fashion makes a statement. When you see somebody who has a high sense of fashion, you kind of look at them differently. It's, fashion is, art that you wear. So that's what I also want to do with it. And another reason is I honestly couldn't find a job. Like, it's hard. It's really hard, and I thought, I have good credentials, I have a resume, I have everything, I do all these extracurriculars, but it turns out they don't want you to be, have an old mind, they just want a set of hands in a sense. I mean, I worked at Chick-fil-A. It was good. It was okay. Long hours. Smelled like chicken all the time. And I always had to be nice. I mean, I'm naturally a nice person, so that wasn't the hard part. The hard part was just dealing with, some leadership. Because when you're a natural leader on your own, lions don't, always get along with other lions. They have to have their own pack, their own prowl. So that's what I realized there in my own way. And also, I applied to a lot of jobs, but they said I was overqualified. I'm like, I'm just 18, I don't know anything. But they said either I was underqualified or I was overqualified. I just couldn't catch a break. So basically, how did I get here in front of you all? My starting capital money was birthday money that I got from my grandmother. She sent me a $50 check. I spent $35 on it, buying these buttons. And I said, you know what? I'm going to flip this. I'm going to be able to because I always get birthday money every year and it all just goes to nothing. And I have nothing to show for it. So I'm like, this time I'm going to do something with it. It's going to be a seed money. I'm going to use this money. I'm going to make something bigger. I'm going to make it grow exponentially in a sense. And then I put the other 15 in my tank because I was running on E. Also, I made a profit margin of $119 after reproduction costs. So I spent the other $35, put it back into the business, because I'm like, hey, I can do it again. So I just put the money back into the business, and I had another $19 left in my pocket to do whatever I want with it, which is probably going to go right back into the business, expand into other things. Marketing through social media. I didn't realize as a young person that people really do see everything you post. Like, if you live your life online, is what I like to call it. You basically share everything you do. You can market yourself through there. So, a lot of people, promote. A lot of people just post stuff to post it, just to, get compliments and likes. So I'm like, I'm gonna, post stuff to make money. Like, let's be smart about this. So I would market through social media. I'll ask some of my friends to post it up themselves, and just support the movement, because it's not a business, it's a movement. And some of my strengths, believe it or not, this guy right here has 44.4 thousand followers on Instagram. He has clout. I'm like, and he's my neighbor. He lives literally down the street. I'm like, you don't do anything. How do you have 44,000? I mean, if you're good at selfies, I guess you get clout. So that's all that matters. So my strengths, after this, beta trial, I realized that I'm pretty decent at marketing. I can get my message out there, and I can get it spread across everywhere without really spending a dime. I didn't spend any money marketing, and that's how I mainly got my message out there. Engagement, as you can tell, I'm very personable. I can make connections. Sparing interest. I have a pretty decent sales pitch, if I say so myself. Like you said, your strength, communication. I think I'm all right. I don't think I'm as good as you yet, but I'm gonna get there. And then I have, operating costs. It's pretty cheap to run my business, so I don't have to worry about losing any money. I also have a really nice profit margin. I'm good at I have tons of connections like Zach. That's the reason why I'm here today. How many 18-year-olds are standing in this spot right here? Not many. I think. Am I the first one? Oh yes, look, trailblazing. That's what I do. That's another strength. Another thing is I'm young. So people are more willing to help me out because they're like, oh, he doesn't know anything. We're willing to take him under our wing and mentor him. You know what I'm saying? And instead of taking that, I was like, no, they don't think I know what I'm doing. I take that advantageously. That somebody actually wants to help me out, and I'm open and receiving to that. Also, I have payment outlets, so I try to expand up. So instead of cold hard cash, I just use PayPal and Venmo. So my weaknesses. My biggest weakness, distribution. It's hard I'm struggling to get my product to you, but I'm working on that. Another thing is, I'm young. I don't know anything. Alrighty. So goals for the near future. 1, set up a website. I think that's my number 1. So that way it's easy for people to get on there, and e-commerce is a booming business. Packaging, so just presentation looks better, looks nicer. It makes you feel more a part of the product. Solidify customer base, venture into other apparel, because, buttons are cool, but I think I can do more than buttons. Also develop, my biggest one actually is to create an almost autonomous system. So basically, I want to make sure that the system that I set in place can, basically maintain its own with little maintenance. Have your money work for you. Okay, and some of my advice. 3 things that I think we should all take away from this. Have the mindset of a mogul. Have audacious goals. Dream big. There's nothing wrong with dreaming big. You have to have that hunger, that drive, that mentality that I got to take over. Have the heart of a hustler. They don't quit, when things get bad. They got to fight through. They got to make it. Hustlers, they say, well, I got to make like a runner. I have to make it to the finish line. I already started. I got to finish it now. And the attitude of a champion. Don't ever get discouraged, or flustered or worried, or and don't ever get too cocky and full of yourself, because just as quick as you got up, it's just as quick as you can fall down. And also, don't be afraid to block out negativity. My own dad, when I told my own dad what I was doing with the money, he was like, that's not gonna work. Little did I know, he wasn't even one of my customers. He didn't even buy a button. I already made $119 off of 35. So, numbers never lie, Dad. My next design, bam. So just had to, preview that out.
What is FOY?
Oh, this is perfect, because I had to wrap it up, but I'll go back. Bam. Okay, so, bam. Okay, so FOY stands for, it spells fly, but also means first love yourself. And also that's why I have the wings on the side, play on words, and having a cloud background, so, be uplifting like I am, in a sense, and be an extension of me. And go more on about designs later if you ask. Questions? Yes, sir.
So I followed you. I attempted to follow you pretty good. So exactly, is this buttons that you're selling with your design? What is it exactly? Yeah,
they're buttons that I sell with my designs, and also I think the designs are more than designs. They're just more than images. They're also art and complex emotions that whatever you put to them. A lot of the designs for me, what they mean to me is pride, joy, and also self-love. Any other questions? Alrighty. Yes.
Do you take artist submissions?
Of course.
Like if I wanted to have my own set of pins through your company, would you be willing to?
Of course, and then I'll cut you a commission because I will have to be the distributor. Go ahead.
What
Yeah.
inspires you? What drives you?
What drives me?
Yeah.
That's actually a really good
Those
question.
seeds.
Who planted those seeds? A lot of people. I'm blessed enough to meet a lot of great people and a lot of people who actually believe in me. And what really gave me this drive, I'd say to start a business at 18, was over the summer. Over the summer I just looked. I'm seeing all these people, grind. I'm seeing everybody, work 25/8 because 24/7 isn't enough. And I'm like, if they can do that, I think I can do that because I have the utmost confidence in myself. And some may call it cocky, I call it convinced. I'm my own brand, and if I don't support me, who is? So I really just had this hunger and this drive. I'm like, I need to do something. And then I'm like, I need to get a job. I don't have any money. School is fine. I'm doing well in school. I can pick up something else because I like to juggle. So then I realized that nobody's hiring me. So I'm like, if nobody thinks I'm good enough, I'm going to determine my own self-value. One of the things I learned from my first job as a recreation aide, watching little kids, is my supervisors told me, because I'm like, oh, Mr. Jonathan, I'm happy to see you next year. I can't wait to see you next year. He's like, I'm not gonna be here next year. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, well, I'm gonna start my own business. He said, the city ain't cutting it. He basically said, if you don't determine your own self-worth, who will? And I really took that to heart, and I never forgot that. And I was only 15. And those words still stick with me these 3 years later. Any other questions? Yes, sir?
So where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Oh, that's a good question. I like how people ask those survey questions that you need to actually reevaluate your life. Well, actually in 5 years, that's actually a really good question. Hopefully, I could be starting my master's and a career that I want. I don't know. Okay, so this is just me. It's not everybody. So don't take this as a blanket statement. Just because I said it doesn't mean it's necessarily true. I'm only 18. I don't know much. But sometimes I really think a business degree would be nice. My friend's like, yeah, you should get one. I'm like, well, necessarily, you don't have to have a business degree to be in business. I think being an entrepreneur is more of a mindset. I think being an entrepreneur is more of an attitude. I think being an entrepreneur is a lifestyle, So hopefully, I'll be excelling in my education, getting a master's, and also maybe even expanding this. Hopefully this is big because, 90% of startups fail within 2 years. So I got to, weather the storm. I've gotten through a couple months and it's good. It's all milk and honey. And then next thing you know, it's going to get bad. But I just have to be prepared for that. Yes?
Do you have any artists that you currently work with?
Actually, I do have one graphic designer, and basically, I'm the brain. She's just a hand. She draws stuff down. Her name is Becca Beach. She goes to Granby High School. She does a lot of graphic and digital design. And basically, like, the actual design that we just worked on was hers. Well, not really hers. I gave her the idea, and she just, put it out there. So she does an awesome job. She volunteers, too. So I'm like, I don't have to pay anybody for that. So that's a good thing. And also, so basically right now, that's my only artist and all the art kids I know in my class. Oh, contact information, email me at desmondvarner@gmail.com. Instagram, des_got_soul. I'm going to change that because that's kind of kiddish. I made that when I was 14. Snapchat, Desmond1215. That's my birthday if anybody wants a birthday gift in like December. And actually, I do have buttons on sale right in front of us. $3 for one, $5 for two. And you can, if you don't have cash, you can pay me in Venmo at KingPinz365 or through PayPal at paypal.me/KingPinz365.